Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. We're focusing on the ITS World Congress in Dubai, taking place in September next year. Moreover, we will be focusing on commercial opportunities in the next hour. So welcome. My name is Lisa Bock-Andersen. I am the Congress Director responsible for this Congress. I work for Ertico ITS Europe, and I am delighted to be your host today. Before I forget, I want to say that this is being recorded and will be shared on our channels. In terms of agenda, I will give an update on the Congress, and we will hear about opportunities both in terms of sponsorship and exhibition. And we will, of course, have a session of Q&As, and you can see on the next slide, you can either ask your questions via Slido, or you can scan the QR code that you're looking at right now. We will also show that QR code later in the deck. As you can imagine, there is a big team working for the World Congress, but today the team that are here with you is my commercial partnership and exhibition lead, Jerome, as well as the project manager for our external PCO who are working with us, Mario, and we are here today to help update you and answer your questions. So with no further ado, let me start by introducing Ertico. Briefly, Ertico has been organizing the ITS Congresses for over 30 years. And as you can see here on the slide, we're a public-private partnership. We are actually 124 partners today across the public and private sector. And what is really interesting about Ertico is that we cover the entire ecosystem of mobility and ITS. Normally, we divide it in 8 verticals, as you can see, and these verticals really go across from vehicle manufacturers, but also suppliers, service providers, connectivity industry, the traffic and transport industry, the users as well, the researchers, the public authorities, and our scope is EMEA-wide, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And on the next slide, as you can imagine, because we represent such a broad and full ecosystem, we are able to cover an equally broad range of topics across ITS. It's not only about vehicles and roads, it's about much more. It's about innovation and deployment in transport, moving goods and people. You can see the topics here. They all also show themselves in the actual Congress, and we constantly evolve what we're focusing on. And equally important, the next slide shows you that we're part of a global ITS ecosystem. We have sister organizations, so to speak, in the Americas and in Asia Pacific. And we work very much hand in hand with a number of what we call national ITS partners across Europe. This means that when we put together a World Congress, it really is a World Congress with representation from really across all regions. Now, let me move to the Congress itself, starting obviously with the host. As you know, the Congress is taking place in Dubai, and we are delighted to be partnering with RTA, the road traffic authorities. And Dubai is really a very relevant host in terms of ITS and mobility. As you can see on the next slide, they have a whole range of activities. We have mentioned a few here. The so-called advanced air mobility are focusing on integration of electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft into the city's transport system. Dubai has a very strong clean energy strategy that makes them the city with the least carbon footprint in the world, aiming for 75% of energy requirement coming from clean sources. There is the Autonomous Vehicle Research Hub. They are piloting new mobility modes and services such as autonomous aerial vehicles or autonomous train and suspended rail systems, as you can see on one of the pictures. And last but not least, they have a very strong mobility strategy aiming at 42,000 electric cars on the road by 2050, with over 500 charging stations, just to give a couple of examples. So Dubai is really at the crossroad of global innovation, with world-class infrastructure and great expertise in ITS. And geographically, it is well placed. It is, I remember our host saying, reachable within 4 hours by 2.5 billion people. So it is really well placed as a host for the World Congress. And there are great opportunities for everybody across all the regions to meet and see what opportunities make sense for you. With that, let's go a little more into the Congress itself. So the Congress will take place in the World Trade Center, which is quite a fabulous venue. I've been there already, and we are aiming at up to 20,000 people. We have a large exhibition area, 15,000 square meters. We will, for those who know our congresses, we will, of course, have a technical program with around 200 sessions drawing experts and academics to the Congress as well, and a very comprehensive high-level program. And my colleague Jerome will be talking about commercial opportunities in his part, also linking to the high-level program. And of course, we will have demonstrations and technical visits as well. The next slide, if I'm not mistaken, gives an overview of the program at a glance, as we call it. It's up on the website as well. And as you can see, it's a full 5-day Congress. Exhibition and demonstrations run throughout. So does the technical visits. And the technical program, as you see, we call it specialist sessions here. They also run consecutively throughout the week. We have the official opening ceremony Monday afternoon, followed by the tradition of having an exhibition, formal opening, and we, of course, also have the policy summit Monday morning, which is a reoccurring element in our congresses for a number of years, where we bring representatives from cities together to discuss key topics. We have what we call a public day on the Thursday, where the general public can come in and look at ITS and mobility for the future. And last but not least, we of course have a social program, including the VIP dinner on Tuesday and the very renowned ITS dinner, where the whole ecosystem meets and celebrates together. Moving forward, every Congress has an individual theme, and the Dubai theme is mobility driven by ITS. And you can see we have 4 subtopics, so to say, as you can see on the slide. And these really act as a compass throughout the Congress in terms of our programmatic approach. We have worked with the so-called European Program Committee, a distinguished committee with a large group of experts, and together we have shaped the approach and the themes for the Congress in Dubai. The plenary topics, we wanted to give you an early glimpse. These are the draft plenary topics to be confirmed. The first one is around trustworthy and resilient mobility ecosystems in these very changing times. We will look at the different links in the mobility chain. We'll look a little bit at artificial intelligence. We'll look at the tools, the regulations that are needed, just to name a few of the elements that could be discussed here. The second plenary is about ITS beyond the road. What are the hurdles in establishing this new ecosystem that should interconnect all transport modes? How do we really deliver the best benefits here? And the third one is about accelerating towards a smarter and more sustainable cities. What are the priorities in accelerating the mobility transition? What are the best practices, and how can non-users perhaps be persuaded to embrace the development and deployment of ITS? This gives you a little bit of an appetizer. And before I hand over to Jerome, I wanted to give the opportunity to everybody. Here are the different ways that you can keep up to date, both in terms of social media, but also in terms of our newsletter and e-blast, and of course, the ITS World Congress website. So I hope this has given a short introduction to the World Congress, and I now would like to hand over to Jerome. Jerome, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Lisa, and very efficient, I must say. Thanks for leaving me plenty of time, and good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It looks like we have a truly international audience joining us today, so thank you all for joining. And in this next section, really, as Lisa mentioned in the agenda, the aim here is to give you an understanding as to the types of organizations that will participate as delegates, who our exhibitors are and what their profile is, who our partners are, and then touch on the nature and the structure of the partnership packages that we have available and the exhibition opportunities that we have available. And then we'll go into some Q&A if we have some time toward the end. So if you are following this webinar on your laptop and you're able to, with your mobile, scan the QR code, it will take you to a Slido system, as Lisa mentioned, where you can submit a question if there's anything that has sprung to mind so far from what Lisa has covered, or in the course of my presentation, if anything does spring to mind, submit your question and we'll endeavour to answer the questions toward the end of the presentation in the order that we receive them. So who are our delegates? Where do our visitors come from? And what's important to amplify here further to what Lisa mentioned earlier is, given Dubai's very central geographic location and the relative ease with which people from all corners of the world can travel into Dubai, we are anticipating a very high number of delegates to come to the event from a lot of areas around the world. So typically each year, depending on where the Congress is held, you will get a high number of delegates coming from the Asia Pacific, from Australia, New Zealand, from Japan, from North America, and from Europe. But given that we are, for the first time in the Middle East, we're anticipating a large number of delegates to come from Middle East and North African countries. We're also expecting delegations to come from sub-Saharan African countries, from India, from the ASEAN region, and also from South America. So a truly global representation, and that's what the map shows. The chart below shows the steady trajectory upwards of delegate numbers since Vienna 2012, and we're hoping to continue that trend, as Lisa mentioned earlier. We have set a very ambitious target of 20,000, but we're working very well with the RTA in Dubai and their marketing teams to help get the message out to all potential delegates and potential participants. And so I do think we'll be able to achieve that number. On to the next slide, please. And in terms of job titles and disciplines and who our delegates really are, it does depend on where the event is held, but typically each year there is a split of 45% public sector, 55% private sector. And of the 45% public sector, there's a significant number of delegates that register who are from cities or from mobility departments or departments of transport that have control over policy or influence over policy in respective cities and jurisdictions. And that's evident from some of the side events that we have, such as the ITS Summit of Cities and Regions that Lisa mentioned earlier, where policy challenges are discussed by these individuals. And then we have 55% private sector, and their job titles range right the way across the board, but there are a significant number of people who register who are C-level executives or decision makers who have control over enormous budgets and projects and departments. And so this typically shows the split. Now, we will share these slides with all participants who have registered for this webinar, so you can use some of this data for your own internal proposals in your own time. On to the next slide, please. So in terms of our delegates and the various categories, what this slide offers really is a snapshot of the very diverse and rich group of sectors that typically represent the delegate and the speaker profile each year that we hold the Congress. It's by no means an exhaustive list. Of course, as the industry evolves, then so do our delegate profile, but you'll typically have those in control of public transportation, the PTO and the PTAs. You'll also have your OEMs and the manufacturers of the cars, the trucks, the drones, the trains, the telco sector and the consulting sector, just to name a few. If you as an organization have a particular target audience that you really want to engage with and you want to discuss how the partnership packages can give you exposure to that audience, then please do get in touch with us and we can talk about some form of tailored solution. So on to the next slide. What you'll see here is a couple of testimonials. I won't read them, but we will share, of course, this slide. But what it gives you is a glimpse into the caliber of organizations that support at the very highest levels when it comes to partnership. Swarco, who has traditionally been a supporter of Ertico Congresses for many years, and Mercedes-Benz Urban Mobility Solutions, both who are offering a glimpse into the value propositions that they have for the event. If we look at our exhibitor profile, who typically exhibits, then what I always like to use is the snapshot of the Ertico partnership, because it offers a great example of the nature of the organizations that also typically exhibit. There will be a lot more in number. Typically, we have around 400 exhibitors and co-exhibitors, but many of the brands that you see here on the screen and the categories that they're broken into are represented also in our exhibition. I know that many of these organizations are also on the webinar today, so thank you for joining. But if we just go back, sorry, Mario, I just wanted to just highlight a few of the categories. So you'll have the connectivity industry, of course, represent the public authorities we've also spoken about, who don't just speak or attend as delegates. Some do also take exhibition space. Service providers, from mapping and navigation to safety and security, and then of course the suppliers of technology and solutions like sensors, for example, and the OEMs are represented in our exhibitor profile. If you do need exhibitor lists to build an internal case, then we can of course provide those to you from past congresses as well. Okay, on to the next slide. So this slide just outlines how we essentially go to market, how we promote our Congress, and how we promote our partners who come on board, and also our exhibitors who subscribe. We work through media partners, and in just a moment, I'll outline who those media partners are. We work with email campaigns. We have a fantastic website with a lot of information. Social media is, of course, a lot of importance. Our association partners and national ITS associations also help to amplify the message. Webinars like this and other digital advertising tools. So this is how we promote the Congress, but it's also how we promote those partners who come on board as part of our activation process. And of course, we'll provide the handles and the hashtags for our partners to be able to promote through their own networks to ensure that their customer base, their suppliers, and their overall networks are able to receive messages about the event. And I'd like to acknowledge now the media partners that we're working with so far who are helping us promote the Congress. Many of these media partners have worked with us for years. And so thank you all for your support, if any of you are on the call. And the importance of the media partners is that many of them have regional and global circulations. And of course, they operate in different spaces. And so they help us get messages and the latest updates to the right target audiences around the world across the different sectors. Next slide, please. Okay, so onto the partnership packages. We have a plethora of partnership or sponsorship opportunities available. A lot of information is contained in granular detail in our partnership brochure. We don't have time this morning to go into that level of detail, but broadly, in terms of the business objectives that the partnership opportunities help to achieve, it's split into 4 categories. The first is thought leadership. So for any organization looking at educating an audience about a particular product, service, or solution that is offered. The next is lead generation for any organization looking at building or maintaining relationships with customers or suppliers or prospective customers. Then we have a range of lead generation opportunities. Then branding, of course, and this is important for new entrants to the market that want to get their logo and their brand out there and visible. And then for any organization that has been around for a while, but perhaps is going through a merger or some sort of rebranding, then branding is, in this instance, very important. And then finally, community building and networking, really for organizations seeking advocacy or influence, or who are trying to build community around a particular project or initiative that they have. The building community and networking options certainly do support this. On to the next slide, please. So for thought leadership, our sponsorship partnership packages are broken down into different areas with various entitlements. But if we start with the high-level program options, the plenary sessions, so either keynote or panelist opportunities in our plenary sessions, and these are 1-hour sessions. The keynote is the precursor to the panel discussion. These are the most seminal opportunities that we offer in the large auditorium in the Dubai World Trade Center. In just a moment, I'll show you where that auditorium will be in proximity to the exhibition. And so these opportunities for the panelist or for the keynote in the plenary are assigned to the higher levels of sponsorship. We next then have the international forum, still in a large auditorium, slightly smaller, but these are very important sessions with focuses on international challenges and perspectives. And again, we have keynote and panelist opportunities available in the international forum. And then the next, the industry breakfast and the industry workshops. Both of these types of audience engagement opportunities will take place in the exhibition stages. We'll have 2 stages in our exhibition, and I'll show you when we go onto the exhibition map where they'll be located. The breakfast, a catering spread is provided prior to the presentation, and then of course the workshops, they are scheduled anytime other than the morning. And then the press conference is ideal for organizations that are launching new initiatives or new products or solutions. Many of the media partners that I mentioned a few slides ago will be invited along with top-line media to our press conference, and it just gives an opportunity for industry to share what's new, what's exciting. So these are the thought leadership opportunities, and if you'd like to learn more, then please do get in touch with me. Next slide, please. So for organizations who want to get a taster, I guess, of the caliber of the speakers that you may be speaking alongside in the high-level panels, of course, we don't sell all of the seats. It is actually a global effort where Rita and her counterparts within ITS America and ITS Asia Pacific go through a procurement process to secure the creme de la creme of thought leaders and innovators and disruptors, particularly within public sector and cities around the world. And so there's some names here on this slide that you can see for past speakers, and then of the speakers that we have secured so far for Dubai. It is an ongoing process, of course, the development of the high-level program, and information can be shared tentatively with any organizations that are considering sponsorship, and then more broadly with the general public on our website once the program has been produced. Branding opportunities. So we offer high visibility branding options for our top level of sponsorship. Many on the call will be familiar with what they are, from lanyards to coffee carts to the delegate bag. And this just gives the opportunity for organizations to really get their brand out there. In terms of lead generation, it goes without saying that, of course, we need to support our partners in getting return on investment. The partnership packages, the exhibition, they're not cheap, and there needs to be some ROI, and lead generation certainly does help to support that. Over the past few years, we have used the Congress app as a tool to support lead generation for our partners and for our exhibitors. We have an app networking portal, which is fantastic for continuing conversations with delegates and visitors and speakers after sessions. We have notifications where you can advise all who have downloaded the app of a session that is taking place either in the exhibition or somewhere else in the venue, or a demonstration or something exciting on your exhibition stand. Lead retrieval options will be included within the app, where you can get access to the data of everybody who has consented when they visit your stand and you scan their badge. And indoor exhibitor map navigation, which is a very important solution, particularly if you're working in a venue like the Dubai World Trade Center with 15,000 square meters. You want to make sure that people know exactly how they can navigate from the registration area to your exhibition space. And so that's why the navigation tool is important. And then finally, whilst we're still working on the finer details, we will be introducing, and quite uniquely here, an exhibitor engagement tool, which will really help our exhibitors track and measure the success of their exhibition, which will help to build the case for supporting the Congress in future iterations as well. Okay, next slide, please. So Lisa touched on this briefly, but the Dubai World Trade Center, just to reiterate what Lisa said, is a fantastic venue. We're very happy working with the staff and the team there. It is state of the art. I'm sure many of you on the call, particularly those from the Middle East, have been to the venue. Fantastic facilities, great links transportation-wise. I believe it's around 20 minutes in a taxi from the airport. And very close connections to the metro line. There are also 2 hotels in very close proximity, and then a lot of other hotels within proximity thereafter within the venue. So it's a fantastic venue for hosting an event of the size and caliber of the ITS World Congress. And again, we're very happy working with the team and the staff there. Next slide, please. So this slide outlines the venue floor plan, and you can see the large pink box to the right. Yeah, this is the one. which is where the high-level sessions will be taking place. This is our large auditorium, and then just a very brisk walk across the concourse to the Navy area is where the exhibition will be held. And then to the far left, you'll see the demonstration area where our mobile demonstrations will be taking place. There are two primary entrances, one at the top, the Novotel Trade Center entrance, which is connected directly to the Novotel, and then the other entrance to the bottom, close to the IBIS and the World Trade Center building. This actually is the main entrance, and registration, I believe, will take place close to this main entrance, and there'll be multiple accesses to the exhibition. Technical sessions will take place mainly on level 1 of the venue. So everything is self-contained within one venue, which basically means that there'll be a lot more footfall and traffic within the exhibition. Okay, next slide, please. So this slide essentially just offers a glimpse to the vibrancy and the color and the liveliness of our exhibition. It is unique in that a lot of organizations for the first time showcase technology and vehicles and simulators, but there is also a very fun, very exciting atmosphere. Many stands decide to have presentations or decide to offer gifts and catering. Sometimes there's a bit of entertainment, but more often than not, the content that is presented by our exhibitors is second to none. And so these images hopefully demonstrate the look and feel of the exhibition. Okay, now I do apologize if this image is a little faint. We do include on the final slide a link to our floor plan, so you can click on that link after this webinar and go in and have a look at the live interactive plan. But essentially what this shows you is the exhibition halls, and we're at, I would say, around 40 to 45% capacity in terms of sales. There are many organizations who are holding their decision until just before the 15th of December, when the early bird deadline arrives. And so we should see a significant increase in the amount of stands that book. And so I'm glad that if there are any prospective exhibitors on the line, you are on the line and listening now. Just to go through some of the feature areas in the exhibition, we do have two main catering areas, you can see, and then there is a VIP lounge. There are also two exhibition stages. You can see exhibition stage 1 at the top, and then in red, exhibition stage 2, where we'll have our breakfast and our workshops. And then we've also indicated here where the Ertico stand will be and where the RTA stand will be, because it may be helpful for some of you who are still making a decision and want to be in close proximity to either organization. Okay, next slide, please. So again, early bird discount comes to an end on the 15th of December. So please do get in contact with either myself or Ricardo, and our contact details will be included with this deck. And we'll share with all participants. But you can also place a reservation with us before the 15th of December, and that will lock the price in for a period of time. There are, for floor space only, essentially two options. One is premium locations. So these are stands that are in locations where we envisage there'll be a higher than average level of footfall and traffic, possibly because of proximity to the catering area, possibly because of proximity to the stages or the entrances. And then we have standard spaces, which generally will have average footfall, therefore the price is slightly lower. Then we also have shell scheme options. So organizations who don't want to build their own custom stand or have a stand designed and are happy having the basic aluminium frame and carpet and power provided, and may want to customize themselves with some graphics, then we have shell scheme options as well. These are contained in the brochure. Links to the brochure will be included in the webinar slide deck. Next slide, please. So I imagine a lot of you have operational questions, because it's always the case every year in terms of what you can do, what you can't do. And I will refer you to the manual. We, of course, have quite a bit of time this morning, so we can run through any questions that we receive. However, all of the information regarding restrictions for height and build and logistics and delivery and supply are contained in the manual. It is the Bible that you can refer to for getting your answers for operational and logistical questions. But in terms of, let me just cover those last points. Sorry, Mario. Yeah, in terms of suppliers, our incumbent supplier who is building the exhibition and is responsible for the shell schemes is DBX Live. So in the first instance, for preferential rates, we will refer you to them. However, if for whatever reason you need to provide 2 quotes internally, then another supplier that you can also get in contact with is Dome Exhibition, and contact details for both are contained in the manual. Finally, catering exclusively needs to be with the Dubai World Trade Center, and so a contact for the catering division is also contained within the manual. Okay, we can move on. Thanks, Mario. Rules and restrictions. There are quite a few things to consider when exhibiting in Dubai. Many organizations on the call will be familiar with rules and restrictions. The full scope is outlined in the manual. However, 2 that we can highlight now: videography and photography needs to be approved by the authorities in Dubai, where on the application, and we do include a link here, you'll need to include your stand number and hall as per your application, date and time of the shoot, and the overall purpose of the shoot. Our team are on hand to guide here if needs be. And construction plans and approval. This is very important because we don't have much time, of course. So you'll need to go through the process of engaging with a designer and a stand builder. You'll then need to submit the stand design to us to get it approved by the Dubai World Trade Center, and that's no later than the 29th of July. If, however, you're looking at a 9 square meter or an 18 square meter shell scheme, then you do have a little bit more time there, of course, and the same approval process doesn't apply. All services for exhibitors in terms of web shop, that's information is also in the manual, so you can get quotes for furniture and so on. And then what we have included here in this slide is just a list of key contacts for various operational aspects of this event. So please, if you're looking for who to contact, use this slide. But if in doubt, give me a call or drop me an email, and I will be able to forward your query onto the right person. Okay. As mentioned earlier, here are the links. The exhibition brochure, which contains all information regarding the exhibition, including the exhibitor manual. I think there is a link to the manual in the brochure, but there's also a link to the manual earlier in this deck and also on our website. The commercial partnerships brochure, so all of our partnership and sponsorship opportunities, some of that I touched on earlier, contained within this brochure. And then the interactive floor plan. If you click on the link to the right, it will take you directly to our website floor plan. Okay, so we have, I think, just over 20 minutes for Q&A. Lisa, myself, and Mario are on hand to answer questions. And I am receiving the questions through from Ricardo as I speak. So the first question is, can you please share the presentation materials? When will the app be released? So Mario, maybe you can answer the question with respect to the app, but in terms of sharing the presentation materials, absolutely. They will be shared with all registered participants after this webinar. So Mario, would you like to maybe...
Yeah, thank you very much, Jerome. Yes, thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. The application will be actually released and shared in 2024. It will be on time, of course, to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to download and see the floor plans and study the location of the stand and the other stands. At the moment, I think we do not exactly have a release date, but will be a few months or few weeks, I would say, before the start of the Congress.
Thank you, Mario.
Okay.
If I can just add to that, typically we aim for having it released a month before, so that everybody can get the maximum out of the app at this early stage.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
And I'll just add to that as well. It is a balancing act. We don't want to launch the app at a time when there are not that many registrations. And of course, typically, many of you will know this, registrations do come quite late in terms of individual registrations. But at the same time, given the level of features that we are including, and this increases each year, we need to be able to give the exhibitors enough time to download the app and utilize it in an effective way so that that lead generation can be effective. And so we'll make sure that we can do that as early as possible. Thank you for the question. There is another question here. Would you consider operating an EV driverless shuttle between remote parking and venue? Lisa, maybe you could take this one.
We're always open to everything is the first answer. So I would invite you to take contact with us with a bit more detail, and then we can together find out what is possible.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a great answer. And yeah, if you could send as much detail as possible, description of the service that you're offering, and we can then identify the right activity. It might be a demonstration, it might be helping us with a particular service. So please do send us an email and we can get in contact with you directly after that. The next point that I need to raise is the stand builder is actually DXB Live. Sorry, I said DBX Live. It's DXB Live, and we will make that correction in the materials. I also have a question here. In terms of hotel discounts, I guess this is along the lines of housing, accommodation, and block bookings. Mario, perhaps you could speak to that.
Sure. So we have negotiated some preferential rates with the hotels which are very close by to the venue. And these discounts are implemented through booking links. These booking links are available on the website, or will be available. Actually, they are being implemented as we speak. And these links will allow the participants to book directly into the hotel at the preferential rates that we have negotiated with the hotel. Just a comment on this that I would like to add is that we see that in the occasion where in the DWTC, so in the World Trade Center in Dubai, there are these kind of events, the hotels surrounding the venue get booked very quickly, of course. So I would advise to not to do this booking at the last moment, so to take a little bit of time ahead to complete the booking through the links that will be available on the website.
Thank you, Mario. The next question I have here, can you explain what the International Forum is? So this was covered earlier, as distinct from the plenary sessions within the high-level program. Lisa, perhaps you could explain the difference.
Sorry, Jerome, the difference between?
The question is, can you explain what the International Forum is? So we outlined the plenary sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. The forums used to be called executive sessions for those of you who have been going to these congresses for a number of years. They are still high level. It is not a technical session as in the technical program, but it is a little bit more tangible than the the plenaries. The plenaries are really high level, broad brushed, how can I say, societal topics, where the forums, they go a little bit more granular. We will have international forums, and in some cases we may also have regional forums like we had in Hamburg. It is up to each of our 3 regions, Americas, Asia Pacific, and Europe. I mentioned we had our 2 sister organizations to decide whether they will do a regional forum focusing, as the name suggests, on the region at hand.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa, for that. And I hope that answered the question. The next one I have here is there any discount for Urtico members for booth reservations in Dubai? And you'll be happy to hear the answer is yes. Urtico annual partners do get a discount on exhibition space. And that discount is outlined in our exhibition brochure. If you'd like to click on the link or go to our website, you can download the brochure or get in contact with me directly and I can provide you with a quote. So yeah, Urtico partners do get a discount on exhibition space. And that discount is for the entire campaign. So even when the price goes beyond the early bird, that discount is still applied. The next question, are there limitations on the number of people who can register from an organization to participate in the event, partners and non-partners? This is a good question. And Lisa, perhaps you'd like to take this one. Shall I read it again for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. The question is, are there limitations on the number of people who can register from an organization? I'm guessing this is register as delegates or visitors from an organization to participate in the event, partners and non-partners.
No, if we're talking about participation as delegates or visitors or whatever category, no, there is no limit.
Excellent. Okay. And the next question I have is the app for lead generation free for exhibitors? And the answer is most aspects of the app are free and included for exhibitors. The exhibitor engagement tool, however, there will be an additional charge, and that charge will be outlined closer to the event. But for most aspects of the app, the navigation, the other tools that I mentioned, the networking portal, if you're an exhibitor, you'll get access to it. Mario, I don't know whether there's anything that you want to just caveat on that.
Thanks, Jerome. No, actually, the app will be unlocked, and as you say, most of the content will be visible and can be used.
Fantastic. Okay. And do we have any more questions to come through, or is that pretty much the extent? Just having a look here. Yeah, if you could.
I think we have covered all of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so. Yeah, Lisa, I'll pass back to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. As mentioned, we will indeed be sharing the content with the participants here. We will also have it up on our website. And we thank you very much for participating and being with us today. Please don't hesitate to come back to us in case of questions. Jerome is, of course, your lead contact here, but we are all available to you. And we will be talking to you again for sure. And with that, I want to say thank you also to my co-organizers and my co-presenters. And then we will close down the webinar for today.
Lisa,
thank you very much.
Sorry,
yes.
to interrupt. There are actually a few questions that I didn't see.
Perfect.
So,
Okay.
whilst we have 10 minutes, I want to make
Of
I want to
course.
make sure that
Okay.
we cover them. So the first one here, Richard Newman from Swarco, no doubt. Is there an official stand builder you would recommend, or are we free to use our own choice? Richard, you're free to use your own choice, of course. Our incumbent stand builder, where I believe you'd probably get the best rates, is DXB Live. And so I would recommend you work with them, or at least get a quote from them, because their offices are within the Dubai World Trade Center and they're connected with the Dubai World Trade Center. So I think for efficiency and in terms of cost, it may be better. But we do offer in the manual an additional option for you to consider as well. The other question I have here is THTC is interested in gold sponsorship, whom to contact with regards to this, and we want to have a speaking slot. Okay, so if you can contact me directly, my email will be contained within the webinar, or if you like to put your email address back in Slido, if you're comfortable doing that, I can contact you. But yeah, use the email address listed in the final webinar slide, and we can set a meeting up. And then another question here. Initially, the discount on exhibition stand cost was applicable until the end of December. Has this date changed as the event is happening in September? Yeah, so previously early bird discounts were extended toward the end of December for some of the European congresses and the World Congress before then. We've had to change the date because of the World Congress being in September. You're absolutely right, but also because of other factors with respect to team and capacity. It makes sense for it to be on the 15th of December, and it's more manageable for us that way. But you can get in contact with me directly and we can have a discussion about it. Okay, Lisa, I think we're done.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, also for your active participation. And have a good day. Bye for now.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.